So, with regardless if this is Rito, TLM, whatever, love to see, because I don't know. Actually, hold up, let me see. We can see right here. I don't know if he shows his name, but either way, because the reason why I think there's a few members that are not on here, because I think this might be technically the development team that is working on H&G2, while TLM is still like the publisher and kind of like the leadership, kind of doing that stuff. Regardless, more money's going in, which I did also say as well right after, that for this to go up, I believe even more, they really need to show some more banger stuff from H&G, which is could be for, like, I'd rather game footage and screenshots and stuff like this to show, because again, I don't know how old this is, but at least show the direction that they're going, what they're working on currently, so it gives more confidence to people to actually drop some more bigger banger bucks, and for those Oilers to drop even more or whatnot to support H&G. And people have been saying, even me too, it's like, okay, 2 million, that is a lot. Hell, lose only 90,000, blah blah blah. Not just only that, but 2 million is, or 3 million, 2 million is a lot, regardless, in comparison to anything. But then I started thinking about it. Or 2 million, because I wish they show the TLM and all that stuff, because I don't know if, technically don't know if they're giving everybody's a raise, or if they're hiring more developers. Why do I say that? Well, because I was thinking about it and actually doing some research on what actually is the prices for hiring an Unreal 5 developer. Like, what's the hour? And I did some calculations on that, on like the average and like the average price, and then also like the top end guys's, and then average that price, which is $50 an hour and then $100 an hour. I think it'd be, unless they kind of want to get a little risky with the $12 an hour type dudes, which they might have to do, but the thing is, there'll be less experience, so there'll be, all that stuff, which I don't know if they're willing to do, to train those guys. But not even just I didn't do any of the numbers of like what the current developer numbers are. So what I mean by that is there's like around 8 to 10 like developers, right? And then probably some TLM ones. If they want to hire new developers and they want to go for those people, right? And they're hiring them hourly, which seems like to be the industry standard so far with my research. Now, to note, because I did these calculations, I counted because, it's like $50 an hour. I did that times 24, so like for 24 hours. So I did that to compensate, because I did that times like 100 days, so like times 100, to get that, and see if they were pretty sweaty, maybe some 24 hours, or since like I don't know when they're gonna do their like scheduling, to sort the hourly, so like maybe 2 hours one day, 3 hours the other day, but total at the end, it's like 70 hours a week. I don't know, but that's probably going to be something like that. That's not out of the usual for anything business-wise. Oh, got him. So understanding that, just for 4 of those developers, for 100 days, with, again, that 24-hour, like, calculation, which I think is good to compensate for all that stuff. Because, again, to notes, TLM wants to release H&G2 Q2 of 2024. So 100 days is not even a year, and not even probably the extra time that they're going to be using as well. Doing the calculations and stuff for like 4 developers for those 100 days is around, well, for $50 an hour, it's around $480,000. $480,000, yes, for only 4 people. Now, if you take that 24-hour calculation I did off, that would probably go down to 200-some thousand for still only 4 developers. That will be only technically working for 100 days total with that extra, because I don't know how much or how long they'll be hiring those people or whatnot. So if they do that, okay. Then if they don't do the $50 and they're going to go for a little bit more of the premium, then that doubles, literally doubles, and that is like around $980,000 for only 4 people if they're doing the $100 an hour people. But to play it smart, they'll probably only get like 2 of those, 1 of those, and then probably some like $12, you know, like that type of stuff to like manage the money better. So there's more production going and all that stuff. And just those 2 amounts, because that's only 4, so if they actually are going to have 4 $100 developers, 4 $50 an hour developers, that's already $1.5 million that they technically need just for 100 days of like development worth. And that's kind of crazy. Now, of course, you take out the 24-hour calculation that I put in, that would still probably go down to half, which would probably be around $800,000. And again, that still is only 8 people. So if they are truly going to like that 24-hour calculation, it's not really going to be a thing. They're not going to be pulling 24-hour work days. Now, I don't know how they're paying the current developers. So, like, if they're not hiring any new developers, but they did actually raise, then that price is, of course, going to go up. Now, they want to do console stuff as well, and that just, like, everything that they've kind of said, kind of, and the pricing now that I kind of dissect a little bit, because that's like 1.5, right? So it's not 2 million yet. If they want to do some premium file sharing, so it's easier to and faster to develop the game without doing some workarounds that are free, but a little bit more tedious and time-consuming, then that would go up yearly, not just those 100 days, but yearly, which they would use because they have developers, so even if they hire people only for 100 days or whatnot, it probably would still work best for them to have that program so those people can get in and all that stuff, yada yada. Either way, those programs, that's going to add another... Those programs going to be like, for 18 people, I did like or 10 times 18 would be like 1,200. And then if they're going to do that for a year, that's an extra 14,000. So it'd be like 1.5 plus another 14,000. And then now that's just that alone. For hiring developers, that's just hiring developers. For Unreal 5, that's not hiring people to make the models. That's not what that is. So if they're just not going to be, they said it. They want to fully rework all the models, which they could just use the free Quixel assets. So the Unreal 5 developers could technically do a good bit of the work via Quixel, but not everything because it's World War II. So their stuff has to be a little bit more custom than a like modern FPS shooter. Now, like all the terrain stuff, that's good, but like you got to go for the weapons, right? Tanks, right? Planes, ammunition, icons, all that stuff. So, I bet that I didn't fully check it, but let's just say it's another $50 an hour and another $100 an hour, because I know model makers, just from me dipping in that stuff before, they were always expensive. So, understanding that if they're going to be hiring people to make assets as well, that could easily be another 100. The same calculation I did, which is like $50 an hour, it'd be like $480,000 for 100 days. So if they were to do that, because again, they could not do this, and this money could be going somewhere else, which I don't know. But that would actually go around to $2.5 million, which is actually over 2 million and gets closer to 3 million, but they actually capped it at 2 million. So if they were wanting to fully kind of capitalize on that, just for 100 days, again, with that 24-hour calculation still, that still would be half, which would be closer to probably 1.8 million if you don't put that 24-hour calculation that I did. But still, it's around that mark of like, well, if they really want to get the support that they want, they kind of need, or support developer-wise and all that stuff, they kind of need that money, especially if they want to hit the time that they want with everything that they want. But we'll see again how they manage that, because, I ran out of ammunition. Because we don't know fully, and that's the whole issue of that. And then that doesn't even include servers. So, like, servers, that could be pretty cheap depending on how many people are playing and stuff. So for, like, pre-alpha, it would probably be, like, $150 a month, and times 12 for that. Then if the servers are full-blown, and there is a lot of people that do pop off at a certain point, that could reach up to $10,000 depending on what they're doing. So that's added on top of that, which is not as extreme as just hiring people, because if one of those developers pull a 24-hour, the $100 an hour, it would be, $2,400 you would have to pay them for that day. Oh, a little nosy. So that's why I put that 24-hour calculation, because they especially for the time that they want to hit, there's probably some developers that are going to be doing that. So that's why I kind of like good average or good estimate number than what TLM is going to have, unfortunately, or anybody else that does this type of launch with a publisher thing. Unless they have those type of connections where they are planning this probably 5 years back. They made all the assets, got the money in a different way through the publishers, all that stuff, and, you know, yada, yada. While TLM, that's not the case here. So all that is kind of needed to be generated because all that stuff wasn't already pre-generated. Especially knowing the prices now, I still believe they could develop it for no cost, really. The cost would have to come from them, but that's something that you sometimes, most of the times, have to do in order to really kickstart your own business or your own thing that is, you know, that is good. But I'm really hoping H&G2 does get developed, of course, regardless. You know, like my opinions of it. If it gets money or not, it should still get developed. Because of how good it is, it will actually pay off in the end.